All right, everyone, welcome to Strictly Sports. I am Jacob Brown. Today is the day we have all been waiting for, the Houston Astros podcast here on Strictly Sports. We're going to preview their season, as difficult as it might be. I don't have anything telling me what to say or anything. This is all coming from my head. I'm not cheating or anything. That's not me. But let's look at how this team went through their offseason. We'll do it how we always did it: subtractions, adds and subtractions, lineup, bench, bullpen, rotation, prospects. Who did they lose? Well, they lost the best pitcher in baseball, Garrett Cole, to the New York Yankees, or arguably the best, him or DeGrom. 9 years, $324 million, crazy contract. They lost a reliable starter, Wade Miley, to the Reds. They lost Will Harris to the Washington Nationals. I don't know why I put Will Davis on the dock. Thank you for correcting me, Stephen. But elite reliever out there at the bullpen. Also Hector Rondon. So that's two pieces of your 7, 8, 9 in the pen just gone. Colin McHugh as well. Catcher Robinson Trinos, really good producer. He's gone. Jake Marisnick, defensive center fielder, whiz. He's gone. Aaron Sanchez, they non-tendered. And they didn't add anyone. So let's look at this lineup. George Springer, leadoff hitter. Again, I'm not going to trust these stats. I want to see them do it again. They knew what pitches were coming. I'm not going to trust these stats. I'm just going to be honest here. 400 WOBA for George Springer, 39 home runs, 96 RBIs in 122 games, 156 weighted run created plus. I mean, you're telling me that George Springer is better than Juan Soto? He's almost there with Cody Bellinger and Mike Trout. I don't know about that. I want to see it again. Jose Altuve, 137 games, 31 bombs, 74 ribbies, 374 WOBA, 138 weighted run created plus. So they're basically saying a 5'4" hitter that somehow hits 31 bombs is the equivalent of Aaron Judge. Michael Brantley in the 3-hole, 22 bombs, 90 RBIs, 367 WOBA. Alex Bregman, and this is the guy that I want to vehemently deny as doing this again. Alex Bregman is not a 41 home run, 112 RBI guy. He's just not. He was never projected from that when he got drafted from LSU. He was never that guy in the minors. He was never that guy in the majors before that. A 432 WOBA, 178 weighted run created plus. It's just absurd for Alex Bregman. I just need, excuse me, sorry, 418 WOBA, 168 weighted run created plus. It's just absurd for Bregman. I mean, thank God he didn't win the MVP. He didn't deserve it. But this is a guy, I just can't see it, those stats. Yordan Alvarez, and this is where it really gets crazy too, came up from the minors in 87 games, 27 home runs. I mean, where does that come from? Carlos Correa, the shortstop, 380 WOBA, 143 weighted run created plus. Yuli Gurriel, really old guy, 36 years old, performing at a 364 WOBA with 31 bombs, 104 ribbies. Josh Reddick, actually one of the only guys that's below league average. I look at this lineup, Steven. It's tough not to just look at this lineup and say, do it again. I really can't trust these stats. You had a camera telling you what was coming for at least half of their games in 2019. And I know the investigation only showed that they cheated in 2017. We all know that's bullshit. They cheated in 2019 too. These stats are not reliable. What do you think of these? What do you think of this lineup?
Yeah, I'll say it first. I mean, before we get down to the lineup, because if you know what's coming, we said this a million times. If you know exactly what pitch is coming from someone in we don't know where the guy was hiding, but if I'm a major league hitter and I know a fastball is coming and a curveball is coming, I'm going to lay off the curveball. I'm going to wait for the fastball. So I put an asterisk next to all these hitters because you just don't know what they really are. I mean, like I said, Altuve, Bregman hitting combined, 72 home runs. Just them two alone. That's insane. You don't see that from a 1-2 punch from any other team. I mean, it's just, to me, it's all bullshit. Where I lost respect for this team was where they said we didn't cheat. They don't want to come out and actually say it. The only guy I think it was Gaddis. I think that came out and said, we did it. And one guy really
retired.
and he retired, and so he's the one that came out and said, we actually did this. He owned up to it. None of these guys want to own up to it. So I have an asterisk next to every single one of these hitters because, hey, do it again. Do it purely. And if you can give me the same amount of production without you cheating and you prove that you didn't have any tampering involved, then yes, I will readjust and I'll look at it. No one's ever going to take away the fact that you cheated and you robbed these teams of potentially, moving on. You are really screwing people out of jobs and stuff. Young guys who aren't getting the opportunity because you are lighting it up, quote unquote, at the big level. But it is what it is. We'll see if they really are what they're made of whenever we get this season rolling. But I really have no respect for this Astros team because they're not. It's not pure, and this to me is way worse than any steroid scandal because at least with steroids you have to be able to hit the ball. This you know exactly what's coming, and I don't care who you are, any major league hitter. If you know a fastball is coming, you're going to hit it. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I mean, with these advanced things that they learn now with bat angles and exit velocity, and I mean, they know how to design their swings based off what pitch is coming to. So it's not just a timing thing, it's how do I angle my bat to maybe lift the ball because I know it's going to be a curveball, I can get under it and maybe lift it out. I mean, there's video clips. You can look them up on YouTube. I mean, anyone can watch these. You hear bang bang, and then Bregman's hitting it out 420 to left field. I mean, do it again, Bregman. I want to see you do it without someone telling you what pitch is coming. That's all I'm saying. And all of these guys have really become very repugnant. They come across as just these quite frankly, they just come across as assholes. I mean, they're just denying that they've done it. They won't say that they've cheated. Carlos Correa is acting like a little bitch, talking to Bellinger about, complaining about losing the World Series. Well, Correa, you would have been mad too, would you not? I mean, you blatantly cheated and took a championship away. And the way I look at it is this. Everyone's like, oh, this didn't win them the World Series. Well, maybe it did because you look at 2017, that was a 7-game series with the Yankees. You're talking about splitting hairs. And if you're looking at these two teams, you have to get to 7 games separated by what, 1 or 2 runs? You're telling me that knowing what pitch is coming wasn't the difference when you're splitting hairs between these two teams? Same thing with the Dodgers. That was a 7-game World Series. The Astros won all of their home games. I mean, what are we talking about here? They clearly stole the championship. They're a bunch of cheaters, and they need to do it again as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, the way I look at this lineup, the one thing that I see that could change, and just I don't want to keep complaining about them cheating because, we can go on and on about that. But
Yeah,
one
sure.
position that I look at that could change, Kyle Tucker in right field, 34 bombs, 97 ribbies, and 125 games of AAA. He could totally take over for Josh Reddick this season.
Yeah, it's the guy I played with at Plant High School.
Oh, wow.
I played with him for 1 year. Great guy. I mean, really a guy who I saw a total maybe 5 times strike out in high school. I mean, a guy who was a tough out, has a great swing, pure hitter. He has size to his advantage too. So he's a good compliment that he's going to be the guy out there in the outfield that he's shown he can do it at the AAA level, and he's had some struggles at the pro level, just getting accustomed to the game. But he's had clutch base hits, clutch homers at the end of the year. But a guy who really he can track balls down to in the outfield. Really, he covers a lot of ground, has a great stride. So you're really getting a good player over there in Tucker, and that could really fill in with that Marisnik loss. So you're in good hands over there for sure.
Yeah, I like him. I like Kyle Tucker a lot. And, speaking about, just comparing this lineup to Oakland's, you look at it, it's actually a lot closer than people would think because you look at these big names, Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Correa. Those are the big 4. Well, Oakland's big 4 is pretty good too of Semien, Olson, Chapman, and Laureano. So we talk about this division race again. I'm not really decided yet on who's going to win the division, but I mean, these two teams are really close in terms of lineup.
Yeah, you look at their one, even you can break it down 1 through 6, and these A's hitters, like we said, 30+ homer guys, pure homer guys too. They didn't have anything to their advantage, so I give them that because they did it the right way, and they played in tougher ballparks, throughout the year, and they don't have that home. So the Astros have that short porch in left and right field. So at home they have the advantage to really break it open offensively. They're playing there half the season.
Right.
The A's themselves have to play in Oakland where balls aren't easy to hit over the fence there. So I give the advantage to the A's because they really do produce offensively and they really keep the lineup rolling 1 through 9. And I that's just to me being pure hitters and doing it, the right way. I give them the advantage because they can produce so many runs night in and night out.
Yeah, 100%. And then that bench, they've got Aledmus Diaz on there as well. Probably won't get too much playing time, but he's the guy that gives Correa days off, Altuve days off. He's that utility infielder type. And then the backup catcher Garneau. So we take a look at this rotation, and the pitchers might not be able to cheat, but they might be able to say pretty stupid things because Justin Verlander has been one of the guys who's been most vocal about problems in baseball, and he's completely shut up about the Astros cheating. So Verlander's a guy I used to respect so much, future Hall of Famer, Cy Young, MVP, World Series champ, and now he's just this repugnant hypocrite at the end of the day. So his stats were great. I mean, he won the Cy Young, 300 strikeouts in 223 innings, 2.58 ERA with 12.11 strikeouts per nine. And not just bias here, man, but Garrett Cole had a better year. He probably should have won the Cy Young over Justin Verlander anyway. What's your opinion on that, first of all?
I like Garrett. I thought Garrett Cole got robbed of that too. I mean, I just think from a pure, just middle ground standpoint, Garrett Cole was just unhittable. When we faced him in the playoffs, the Rays, it was just like you're looking like, oh, how are we going to get any? How are we going to generate any
Yankees,
sort
yeah.
of offense? How are we going to get guys on base? How are we even going to get a guy in scoring position and get him in? So for me, he was the best pitcher in baseball by far. He was just so dominant, struck guys out. I mean, he made guys look stupid as shit up there. I mean, guys were swinging at pitches that they don't even, like they were. He made guys swing when the ball was already in the catcher's mitt. So
Yeah.
I mean, he just had just some godly stuff, and I think he should have been your Cy Young winner. Nothing to take away from Verlander. He's year in year out. He's getting older, and it seems like by age he's just getting better. But I think Garrett Cole was definitely the unanimous Cy Young in my eyes. But it is what it is. But they really lost a big piece in Garrett Cole in that rotation.
Yeah, man. I mean, like we haven't even talked about that. That's a really, really significant thing because Zach Greinke's nice, but he's a little bit older. And to be honest with you, in the American League, I don't trust a guy who can't throw past 92 miles per hour sometimes. You've got to be really pinpoint with that location if you're a guy like that. And he does give up, kind of a lot of home runs playing at a hitter's ballpark, and he's kind of up and down, kind of year to year. You don't know what you're getting with Greinke. Sometimes, like this year, 2.93 ERA and 208 and two thirds. He's amazing, but sometimes he's not, and that's your two starter. I like Greinke a lot. Don't get me wrong, but he's definitely not Garrett Cole. Yeah, you're getting Lance McCullers Jr. back, but he didn't pitch at all in 19, and he was inconsistent himself. Jose Urquidy, who knows? Josh James, who knows what you're going to get? I mean, with Josh James in 49 games last year, 14.6 Ks per nine, but he walked 5 per nine. So you don't even know what you're getting with this full rotation. That Garrett Cole loss could be tremendous.
Yeah, and that's why I have this team so close with the Oakland Athletics because they had the same pitching rotation. One, you have Manaea and Fires. Look at the Astros. You have Verlander and Greinke. So after that, you have a lot of question marks. Who's going to be your guys following up with that? And the hitting's almost identical. So losing Garrett Cole, every time he got on the mound, every fifth day, it was almost pretty close to a guaranteed win. Your offense had to put up at least 2-3 runs. If you put up 3 runs, you were winning that ball game for the most part. So you look at that loss, it's going to be huge. Who's going to fill that role? Verlander obviously is going to have to step up and really take command of that rotation and that pitching staff. Greinke, like you said, not a overly he doesn't overpower a whole lot of guys. He really has to be careful with his stuff. He's got to get guys off balance, use kind of a methodical way to get guys out. He's not going to really blow that fastball by you. Strikeouts are high because he uses that curveball and the off speed to his advantage, and he really does spot up. But if you get to him, which you can get to Greinke in a way, after that too, if Greinke's not really producing a whole lot, you're in trouble because you don't have much behind him. With only McCullers being out a whole year, you added Austin Pruitt, who isn't. You think that's going to solve your problems? He wasn't really an overpowering pitcher in Tampa either. He had his fair share of struggles. So really, you're going to have to find out what you're made of out past McCullers, even starting there with him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the 3 through 5 of these rotations, who would you rather have, McCullers Jr., Urquidy, James, or Luzardo, Montas, and Puck? I mean, I'd way rather have that 3 through 5 for Oakland.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there because I would much rather have guys that have shown they have glimpses of that they can do it. You have guys here in this Astros rotation that you're not really sure too much of what they're about. It's kind of like you're playing roulette with them, like what's going to happen, how are they going to mold into our pitching staff. So I really think Oakland's in a great spot because pitching wise, their bullpen's great for Houston, but starting pitching's really got to carry you to at least the fifth, sixth inning there.
Yeah, and you look at this, another option for them potentially in the rotation, number 19 prospect in Major League Baseball, Forrest Whitley. So, he can come along too. And at that point, if McCullers is the guy that he used to be, you could say Verlander, Greinke, McCullers Jr., and Whitley. If all four are what the Astros think they can be, that's a really good four. So you can't take that away. That potential is there, but I'm just saying, you look at Oakland, I like that potential more. Move on to this bullpen though. And by the way, Forrest Whitley's their only top 100 prospect. Kyle Tucker, I believe, used to be. He's not considered a prospect anymore. But if you look at that bullpen, Roberto Osuna, this is another guy. A lot of guys dislike him now because of what happened last year with the domestic violence situation. But 10.11 Ks per nine, 38 saves. Can't deny his production. Also, Ryan Presley out of the bullpen strikes out almost 12 per nine. Brad Peacock, Chris Davinsky, Joe Smith, the submarine pitcher there. But you can't discount this either. Hector Rondon, Will Harris, really big relievers for them. They're gone.
Yeah, I was about to hit that right there too. You lost a big piece of that back end of the bullpen in Will Harris and Hector Rendon too. I mean, so you're looking at trying to fill some shoes there too. Who's gonna really step up and replace those guys? But you have guys like Osuna who I'm one of those people. I didn't really like him once all that the news broke about the domestic violence stuff. No tolerance for that, but still a great pitcher on the mound. Put all that stuff aside, he can really throw the baseball. Presley, Peacock back there, and Smith. I mean, guys who really they're power guys too. They can strike a lot of guys out. ERAs are relatively low, and so they have a really good back end of the bullpen. That's what really they really lean on that. You get to a late stage of the game and you're down by 1-2 runs, and it's going to be hard to really muster some things up and come back against this team. So, yes, starting pitching isn't quite there, but their offense can still win you games. And if you get to the seventh inning with the lead, they'll still end up really kind of putting you in a bad situation and really still being able to win ball games.
Yeah, and one thing I'll throw over to you too. It's before this season there was a lot of trolling going around. With this team, obviously they're getting a ton of hate because they cheated, and going into the season they were going to be facing a lot of crowds, booing them, trashing them. That would have been tough to deal with. Now, as we think about a potential return to Major League Baseball, in all likelihood, I mean, almost definitely it would be without fans. And, this whole situation by then, it's a few months old. They might avoid the whole negative blowover of this situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for the teams that really wanted to seek revenge, and I say revenge. Some batters were going to get thrown at. It's the way it is in baseball. It's just that's your only way of getting back at guys, and they might really dodge a bullet here because now you're in this really you can almost go a whole year without baseball, and you get back and obviously the fan bases like the Yankees, the Rays, Dodgers, they're never going to forget. But for the average fan, they're not going to care. They're just going to be glad baseball is back, and they're just going to like nothing ever happened. But
Right.
it's just and with no fans too. So if you get baseball going again, and you have no fans, no one's going to care. I mean, obviously the player's going to have that chip on their shoulder, and the part of getting back at teams, it riles the fans up. It gets your people behind you going, and the fans aren't going to be there chirping them. They're not. They're really like you said. They're going to almost completely avoid any sort of repercussions from the popular opinion of the public. So it's unfortunate. I really wanted to see them really kind of get some justice there. I mean, that's really they deserve everything that came their way, but they might really avoid it.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I had it marked on the calendar the day that they returned to Yankee Stadium. I mean, there were reports out there that said they might need to go in with a SWAT team because of how crazy that Yankee Stadium crowd would have been. But it's unfortunate that we got to wait. But I mean, I just want baseball back at this point. I can't harken that enough. And these two teams are so close. I mean, during that AL playoff pod, we'll both make our decisions, but it's going to be Astros, A's, neck and neck. But I mean, as I'm thinking about it right now, it's just the potential of that A's lineup. I'm liking that so much compared with the drop off that's going to happen with this Astros lineup. I don't see Bregman with a 418 WOBA, Yordan Alvarez 432. I mean, you're talking that's Cody Bellinger, Mike Trout, Rendon territory. Maybe Bregman's that guy. Maybe I'm just a little bit too mad at him cheating, but I mean, I don't see it with these guys. I mean, especially with Altuve, 5'4". Everyone always wondered how is this guy hitting 30 bombs a year. It's just I don't know. I don't see these guys replicating those stats again. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. That's the one thing I'm going to be looking at for this Astros team is can they repeat it? If they do it, if they repeat it, like I said before, then yeah, maybe we really kind of came on too strong with them and kind of a little too hard. But they cheated. That's the end of the day. You can't go around it. That's just like you just never know what the stats would have looked like if it wasn't the other way around. And these guys are great hitters. They never had to do it in the first place. Had a good enough team that you know just put together good at bats. Have some integrity for the game. And Altuve, before this even happened, a guy who could hit the ball. He lived on base hits, and the homers came naturally. And he has power. And for a small guy, he was able to really. It's impressive to watch. But now this whole thing comes out, and it's like, wow, why'd you do it? And we just don't really know who these guys are. Like I said, come out, duplicate your stat lines again this year, then maybe we're all wrong. But until that happens, we're still going to have that. They're going to have that stigma around them.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I actually do hope for the sake of the game that they are these players because I'd love to be wrong in this situation. It's just the integrity of the game was broken. I mean, Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Correa, these are guys that were homegrown, brought up by the system. Same with Alvarez. I really respected how they built this team up from nothing, and then to just find out it's all just fake in all likelihood. It's sad, really. I mean, the championship isn't real. Their American League pennant from 19 isn't real. If they do it again, maybe I can respect it a little bit more, but we got to see. So that'll do it for this Houston Astros podcast here. Tomorrow, you're going to get the start of the AL Central with the Detroit Tigers, only 47 wins last year. That'll be a fun one to talk about for sure. But you're also going to be getting our NFL coverage here, NBA, NHL coming on the way. And you can listen on a bunch of platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and a bunch of other places as well. You can follow us on Twitter at StrickSportsFAU. For Stephen Cashin, I am Jacob Brown, and you'll see us next time.